love bugs, happy Monday. So we're back for reading. As you can see, I'm enjoying the lovely, beautiful weather that we've been having. Not so much on Saturday because it was snowing. I don't know if you noticed, but it was snowing on Saturday. But I'm outside on Sunday recording this teaching video for you. So it's beautiful. I hope you're enjoying the weather outside, even if it's just on your stoop, on your doorstep like I am, right outside my door. So I hope you got to go outside, even for if it's like 5 minutes this week, and enjoy this beautiful weather. So let's talk about reading. So we are done with historical fiction. So just like in school, when we finish a unit and we move on to a next one, we are now done with historical fiction. So you don't have to keep reading your historical fiction book. If you didn't finish it, that's okay. We're going to be reading a different book with a different lens of thinking in our reading. So no more historical fiction. So our next reading unit, which is our last unit of reading, which is crazy, is called Power and Perspective. So it's one of my personal favorites of reading. And I really enjoy thinking about reading this way and thinking about books this way. So I hope you will too. So we're going to be reading some books together, and you're going to be reading some books on your own on Epic that are assigned to you for this unit. So the first thing we'll think about is what power and perspective mean. So let's think about the word power. What does power mean? So think about, in your own lives, what does it mean to have power? Who has power in your life? Who has power over you? And then think about on a small scale, in your house, who has power in your household? Who has power in your school? Who has power in your classroom? So I know if you're in my class, we talked about in the beginning of the year, who's in charge here? Who has the say? Who has power? How is that shared? Who has power in our building? Who has power in your community of South Orange Maplewood? Who has power in the world? So there's different kinds of power, and who has that? What does it mean to have power to you? So power can mean a lot of different things. You can think about like strength power, like look at my muscles, I'm super powerful. You can look at as your brain as having power to succeed in the world. People have power because they have money. Maybe people who have more money have power. People who look a certain way or are born into a certain family might have more power than you. So there's a lot of different ways you can think about power. And what is the first thing that you think of when you hear the word power? So right here on the left are a lot of different questions. You just have to answer one of them. So just choose one question about power to answer right here in this box on the right. So you can answer about what power means to you, who has power in your life, who has power in our school, in our community, in the world. What does power mean to you? What does it mean to have power? And what do you think of when you hear the word power? So you're just going to answer one of these questions right here. You can think about power in a lot of different ways, and that's something we're going to be doing this unit. So by the end of 4th grade, which is what this is you are really thinking about all the complicated ways your books and your stories are told. I hope you're enjoying the music as it passes by me. As you're getting older and you're reading more complicated stories, you should be thinking more complicated thoughts. So thinking about power and some questions that you can ask yourself while reading is who makes the rules and who is in charge? So that's what it means to read with a lens of power. Is every time you turn the page or some important event happens, you stop and you're like, wait, who is making the rules right now? Who's in charge? So we're going to move to think about characters and their perspectives and their power and how they feel about the world and how they're placed in the world. Maybe some characters are more powerful than others, and why are they more powerful than others? So what we're going to read together is Tia Isa Wants a Car, which is going to be our read aloud, our mentor text. So that's going to be the book that we keep coming back to for our examples. And then you're going to be reading your own book on Epic. But Tia Isa Wants a Car is the book that we're going to keep coming back to for our examples to show you what to do for some of the independent work. Thankfully, Mrs. LaForest, who is a lovely reader, is going to read to you Tia Isa Wants a Car. And so take a look at Mrs. LaForest reading the book aloud to you first before you do anything. So watch Mrs. LaForest's video. So you can pause here and go watch her video, or you can finish this video and then go watch Mrs. LaForest read afterwards. It's up to you, but make sure you watch Mrs. LaForest read before you start doing your own independent work. So once you have listened to Mrs. LaForest read the book aloud to you, you're going to think about your own book that you're going to be reading. So today you're going to probably have to do a little bit of like pre-reading time. So you're going to have to go on to Epic and you're going to have to read for 15 to 20 minutes before you can do any of this work, so you have a good idea of what book you're reading and who your characters are. So let's think about Tia Isa Wants a Car. So once you've listened to Mrs. LaForest read, you should be thinking about who has the power in this book, who makes the rules, and who has control. So one person who has power in especially the beginning of the book, in the story, is the person at the car lot. So the guy at the car dealership who is selling Tia Isa a car, he has power in the beginning because when Tia Isa and the narrator go to buy the car, he tells them that they don't have enough money. So it seems like he definitely makes the rules because he decides how much money the car costs, and he decides that Tia Isa and the narrator don't have enough money to buy the car. So you can even see in the illustration on that page that he seems a little sad about it, and he feels sorry for Tia Isa that he has to say that she doesn't have enough money, but he still gets to make that rule. So he has power because of his job. So his job gives him power. Whereas in this beautiful GIF right here of Thor has power for very, very different reasons. Thor has power through his superpowers. But the car dealership in Tia Isa Wants a Car definitely has power over her in that moment because of his job. So now what you're going to do is you're going to head to Epic. You're going to read for 15 to 20 minutes of your own book. And then you're going to come back and you're going to do the independent practice. So you're going to ask yourself, who has the power in the story so far? So even in Tia Isa, we only read the first couple pages, and we already could think of somebody who has power over another person. So in your book, you're going to think about who has the power so far. That can change. Power can change, but who has the power in the beginning of the book? Who is making the rules? And then you're going to respond right here. So you can refer back to our example right here. But your response about your own independent book is going to be right here. So remember, while you're reading, you're thinking about power and who has the power and who is making the rules. So we're going to think a lot more and a lot more complex and deeply about the idea of power. So kind of get that in your head about what power is, and think about power in your own lives too. Who has the power over you right now? Who has the power over you normally? Who do you wish had power? How do you have power? So there's a lot of different ways you can think about it, and there's a lot of different ways we are going to be thinking about it. But for today, you're going to read that book on Epic, and you're going to come back and you're going to write about who has the power in the story and who is making the rules so far. I hope that makes sense. I'm super excited to be doing this unit with you. I cannot wait, and happy reading. See you soon.